Hi friends, my name is Jennifer. Welcome into my home and into my kitchen. I am on my lunch break from work and I wanted to throw some food together so that I would have something ready for dinner. We have some leftover pasta from dinner that I made a couple of nights ago, and I just wanted to get some of the viral tomato feta sauce going, all ready to pop in the oven when I'm done with work so that dinner is not going to be any hassle at all. So I am preparing that. Like I said, the noodles are already cooked, they're in the refrigerator. I'm going to bring you down and show you how quick and easy this is, something that you can do in just a matter of minutes, and then the oven does all the work by cooking it. Let me bring you down. I've got my dish here, and I have kind of a day for leftovers. I do have a block of feta that was left over from another dish. I also have some feta crumbles that need to be used up, so I'm just going to drop those in there. I have some cherry tomatoes from the garden that were in the freezer. I'm just going to dump that over there. And that got rid of a whole bag of cherry tomatoes for me, which I've been needing to use those up. I have some homemade basil salt, and I'm just literally going to sprinkle that over the dish. And that is basil from my garden. And I also have a little bit more basil that I'm just going to crumple in here. Get this nice, lots of flavor there. I'm going to drizzle some avocado oil over this. I don't really have measurements, as you can tell. This is just a quick dish that I'm putting together so that we can have a delicious meal tonight. Basically using things that were already on hand. And then I have a bag of spinach, frozen spinach, that I'm going to put in there. And I'm just going to eyeball it until, and I beat this bag up pretty good because it was kind of one solid block in the bag. And there's still a few chunks, but as it sits in the refrigerator over the next couple of hours, it will defrost a little bit. And I'm making a mess all over my countertop. And then just one more thing, I'm going to add a little bit of seasoning salt. Even though I added that basil salt, all of our salt mixtures are actually very low in salt because they're homemade, and we like to watch our salt intake here. So I have the seasoning salt, the basil salt, feta cheese, cherry tomatoes, and some lettuce, and drizzled that with avocado oil. I'm just going to put some saran wrap or some aluminum foil over that and pop that in the fridge. We all have those days where we're busy, we're tired, we've had long weeks, and sometimes we just need to put a nice, delicious meal together for our family. And I just wanted to bring you along for that. It doesn't always have to be big and complicated. I'm going to put that into the oven probably at like 375 for about 40 minutes, thereabouts. I will see how much the tomatoes defrost before I put it in there. And of course, I'll bring you along when I take it out and put my pasta in it. I have some bucatini left over from a dish that we made for Father's Day. and we need to use that up, the leftover bucatini. So I'm just eating leftover salad here in the bowl. Didn't even put it in its own bowl because why dirty more dishes than we need to? And I am the queen of dirtying up bowls. So I'm proud of myself for that one. I'll bring you along after this comes out of the oven so you can see what it looks like tonight, right before we have dinner. See you back when I do. So I took this out of the oven and I'm just using a potato masher to kind of crush my tomatoes a little bit. And I want to see where we stand with this. Now, because the tomatoes were frozen and the spinach was frozen, it did add some water in here, which is fine. It gave it a saucy texture, which is what we want. But I think now that I have kind of smushed everything together, I am going to put it back in the oven for a little bit and cook it just a little bit more, kind of let it reduce a little bit. Now that I've gotten that moisture out of the tomatoes, they were whole still, and I just kind of crushed them, like I said, with that potato masher. So normally I have to, when I'm using fresh tomatoes, you do need to add a little bit of like pasta water. So I'm not mad that the water released from the tomatoes and the spinach, but just something to keep in mind if you are using frozen tomatoes, that they will release water. And if you are using frozen spinach, it will do that as well. So it just depends on how saucy you want it. I probably could have had more tomatoes in here to make it a little bit more tomatoey, but no, I'm not mad at this at all. Let me give it a little taste. It's piping hot, but I do want to taste and see where we are with seasoning on this. You know what? I could use some pepper. Excuse me. I'm going to add some, this is white pepper here. I'm going to add some of that in there. Woo. Oh, excuse me if I sneeze. I feel one coming on there. And I feel like it needs something else. What I'm going to do, like I just said, I feel like I could have had more tomatoes in here. I'm going to go ahead. I've got some tomato powder right here. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle in. This will also thicken it up a little bit. So let me start with 1 tablespoon. I use this tomato powder mostly to make tomato paste with. I could also make tomato sauce with it. I've not used it just straight up like I just did in here, just to add a little bit more tomato flavor. I think I might need a little bit more. I should taste it, but I'm going to add another heaping teaspoon. The first one wasn't as heaping as that one was. And this is, let me show you the bottle again. So this is just a tomato powder. Pardon my nails, I'm missing a nail there. Tomato powder, it is certified organic. This company, Frontier Co-op, I buy a lot of herbs that I can't grow myself. Some of my teas from them, and honestly, I just get it from Walmart. Walmart has a whole bunch of their products online. Amazon has a lot of their products online, and then, or you can just go directly to the company website, and that's Frontier Co-op. They're really good prices. That's where, like I said, I've gotten a lot of my spices and and loose leaf teas and things like that. So that looks like it's mixed in there good. Let's give this another taste and we'll see if it needs anything else. That's wonderful. All right, I still am going to put it back in the oven for a little bit. Let that tomato powder really hydrate in there and give it a little bit more time to cook. Maybe about 10 minutes is all it needs. And we'll be back then. So this was in the oven for about another 10 minutes. And let me just give it a quick little zhuzh here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the pasta in here. And like I said, I've got leftover bucatini noodles from dinner a couple of nights ago. And they're still cold out of the refrigerator. So once I get this blended, I may need to put it back in the oven for a little bit so that this gets all incorporated. Now, normally I would feel much more confident about blending all this up, especially because these noodles are big and fat, if I had it in a bigger bowl. But like I said earlier, I'm the queen of using a ton of bowls, and I'm trying to just make this to where I'm using everything that I have, using up some ingredients, some leftovers, and not make a bunch of mess. And it's working. It's loosening up. Those cold noodles are loosening up in the heat of this. I don't know about you, but this just looks delicious to me, and I can't wait to get it in my mouth. Now, I do make this pasta or this feta and tomato dish quite often. My husband doesn't care for it as much as I do. But like I said, we had the leftover noodles that we needed to use up. And I thought I would try it with this rather than just a regular marinara spaghetti style sauce. We had, I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong, but pastizzata on Sunday for Father's Day, and it called for the bucatini noodles. That is a Greek dish. It was the first time I made it, and I will definitely be making that again, and next time I will bring you guys along. It was delicious, very flavorful. So I'm just kind of giving this a little bit, like I said, of zhuzh. And then I am going to put it back in the oven right now for another 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're going to make a bowl or a plate or whatever I decide to put it on. Be right back. We are almost ready to eat here. So again, I just pulled this out of the oven. I set the timer for 8 minutes. It's nice and steamy, so everything is nice and hot. Oh, it looks so good. And of course, you can adjust this however you like. If you don't like spinach, don't put spinach in it. If you want a different kind of pasta, use a different kind of pasta. You could, customize this to how you want to do it and to your taste. That's the nice thing about making dishes from scratch at home, is you get the ingredients that you want. So at first I just used to do just tomatoes and feta. And then I started adding vegetables in it. And if you wanted to, you could put some chicken in there or something. But tonight I'm just having a vegetarian meal. And we're going to give it a try. These noodles They're big and fat, so this is going to be a large mouthful. And it's steaming. Let's see if I can do this gracefully. Mm. That tomato powder was a good idea. I'm so glad I did that. It added just a little bit more punch of tomato flavor that it needed. I hope you pull some inspiration from this quick meal that I put together. Threw it together on meal prepped on my lunch break, and it literally only took 5 minutes. And then the hardest part was waiting for it to cook. Taste, adjust seasonings however you like, and put in the things that you like, leave out the things that you don't. Friends, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you come along for the next journey that we do together. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next time. Take care.